Dear participants, so welcome for our AICT sponsored short-term training program. This today resource person is introduced by Mr. Magesh. It's a EEE faculty, BVRIT. Magesh, sir, please introduce the resource persons. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharwan sir. So it is a great honor to introduce today's session speaker of AICT sponsored 1 week STTP program, Series A 17th August to 27 August. So Dr. P. Pratap Reddy Garu, he completed his graduation from JNTU Anantapur and he completed his master's from Lovely Professional University, Punjab. He did his PhD in the area of analysis and performance improvement of coal-phase modulator induction motor drive for traction applications from IIT Hyderabad, Telangana. He is a good experience in the field of design the high temperature superconducting induction motor and permanent magnet motor design for electric vehicles using JMAC-PEM software. So he published 15 research papers in reputed journals like IEEE in the area of multi-phase induction motor drive for electric vehicles. And he also presented 10 research papers in IEEE conference. And he presently had a US patent along with Atif Iqbal sir and Meeraj Syed Rahman on the topic of multi-phase induction motor drive for airless electric vehicle. It is a US patent submitted by Qatar University of Research under its review process 2020. He has a good software skills in the area of ANSYS Maxwell and JMAC PEM, MATLAB and Simulink, VHDL for FPGA and GEDA and TCAD software for PCB design. And he received many awards from the various organizations. He received appreciation award, research award from IIT Hyderabad, and he received excellent research award from IIT Hyderabad. And he received a university gold medal from Lovely Professional University, Punjab. He received academic honors and ranked first ranking from the Punjab University along with JNTU Anantapur. He has a research work presently in multi-phase induction motor drive on electric vehicles, two-port network-based boost converters for microgrid EV applications, wireless charging technology for EV, alt multi-level converters for renewable energy applications, performance improvement of multi-phase induction motor drives, pulse width modulation techniques, and machine design for electric track applications. So presently he is a postdoctoral fellow at Qatar University, Qatar, and the area of design and implementation of multi-phase induction electric vehicles, design and control of power converters for research energy applications. So we welcome you, sir. Now I request to Pratap Reddy, sir, to take over the session and deliver today's topic, advancement of machines and power converters for electric vehicles. So all the participants who utilize the session is valuable information you are researching. Thank you. Now,
hello.
I request to continue.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Pratap sir, you can. Yeah, you can start.
Yes, sir. Some background noise is coming, sir. That's why I am waiting for that.
Dear participants, please all the participants mute your audio. All the participants, please mute your audio.
Hello, sir. Can I continue, sir?
Yes, yes. Dear participants.
Hello, sir. Can I start, sir?
Yes, yes, sir. You can
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for nice introduction. And myself, B. Pratap Reddy. I have completed my PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. Currently working as a postdoctoral research fellow at Qatar University. Today I am going to give a talk on advancements of missions and power converters for electric vehicles. If you will see, the advancement of electrical missions will be multi-phase missions and coreless missions, and some non-radiated magnetic based missions and superconducting missions. So many advancements happened in the electrical missions to meet the current demand related to electric traction applications, as well as different aspects like electric aircraft application. Different type of design of electric mission is required. In terms of ship propulsion application, different type of electrical mission is required, where the mission is operated very lower frequencies like 10 to 15 hertz we used to operate for ship propulsion application. I am not going in detail with the all applications. I am majorly focusing in this presentation on multi-phase missions for electric vehicles and associated advantages. And coming to the flow of presentation, firstly, what is the necessity of electric vehicles and why we are moving towards the electric vehicles at present scenario, and I am going to explain at the initial of presentation. And after that, overview of powertrain for electric vehicles, like different powertrains are there, like single motor driven powertrain, dual motor driven powertrain, or multi-motor powertrain to meet the different speed torque characteristics of the vehicle. How the structure of powertrain will be for the electric vehicles I am going to discuss. And after that, why multi-phase missions rather than the three-phase missions? What are the drawbacks or limitations with the three-phase missions for the high power applications? And on top of that, why we are choosing the multi-phase missions I will discuss. And after that, pole phase modulation in induction motor drives for electric vehicles. What is the necessity of pole phase modulation, and what are the advantages we are gaining for with the pole phase modulation index, why it is suitable for electric vehicle I am going to discuss. This is a part of my PhD work. I am going to present a little portion of my PhD work. And after that, some research scope on electric drivetrain for electric vehicle application I am presenting. So I am starting with the presentation. Firstly, necessity of electric vehicles. As we all are know that gasoline powered vehicles are releasing huge hazardous emissions into the atmosphere, which is nothing but a carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere, which is leading to the temperature rise, as well as global warming, and faster innovation of fossil fuels and high fuel price is motivating towards the alternative solutions. And recently in 2016 or 2017, I'm not sure about the year, the one article published that having breathing air in Delhi atmosphere or surrounding atmosphere is equivalent to having a 17 cigarettes per day, which which motivates the people to look towards the alternative solutions. And moreover, the air pollution is majorly causing the heart diseases and lung cancer and other respiratory issues throughout the lifetime of the human beings, and not only human beings and other living organisms also hugely affecting because of the carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides. So we have to think on alternative solutions. The best alternative solution will be green transportation. What is the advantage with the green transportation will be the pollution free green environment, like there is no pollution like this, there is no emissions of carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides, and no health issues. As we said that because of air pollution, and according to WHO reports, they stated that every year 2 million of people are dying because of the air pollution only. And the states that India has the topmost polluted country, as well as consisting of topmost polluted. Sorry, some background noise is coming, sir. Is it okay? Shall I continue or it is okay? Sorry for the interruption.
Dear participants,
Dr. R.
kindly
Vijay, Dr. R. Vijay, please mute your video, mute your audio. Dr. R. Vijay. Yes, sir. You continue.
Okay, sir. Sorry for that. And no health issues. As we said that already, because of air pollution, India is the topmost affected country because of the air pollution, which is nothing but because this disease, chronic respiratory issues and lung cancer and heart attacks are majorly happening because of the air pollution. If you will go with the green transportation, there is no health issues and highly efficient as compared to the mechanical structures like IC engine and other movable parts. The efficient operation of the electrical components will be somewhat higher efficient and higher safety, as well as smart control with the advancement of EVs. and lesser maintenance and longer life of the vehicle, as we all know that compared to the movable parts in the electric vehicle somewhat lesser as compared to the mechanical IC engine based vehicles, so that the maintenance will be lesser and running cost will be very cheaper in electrical vehicles. So if you will charge the nowadays the all electrical vehicles, even though we are considering as electric vehicle and we are thinking as it is too clean, but which are the majority of the electrical energy is generated by the thermal power plants and fossil fuel based power plants or backup diesel engines like that. If you will use like this thermal power plants, it will leads again a huge air pollution, which is nothing. So we have to think on again further solution. So the solution will be we have to charge the generate the electrical sufficient electrical power by using the renewable or green energy resources for charging the electric vehicle applications. So for that we have to implement, we have to go with the either solar or wind for charging the for generating the electric power as well as for charging the electric vehicle. Now we can say that the air pollution as well as other environmental issues are coming down. It leads to the greener environment and there is no emissions and longer life, and it is more eco-friendly as compared to the previous thing. Coming to the penetration of electric vehicles, how the electric vehicles can be penetrated in the coming years, and I have shown in this plot. In the year 2020, it was around 6 million or 5 to 6 million. In the coming 20 years, it is reaching up to 65 millions. That is nothing but 10 times it is increasing in a span of 20 years. China has the world's largest electrical market and followed by Europe and United States. Nowadays, Indian government also took an initiative that we have to go towards the electric vehicles. Maybe by the end of 2040, India also will come into the picture here. And coming to the types of EV, the different types of EV depends upon the range and depends on the duty and which purpose we are using. I am focusing on only depends on the duty purpose, and the low duty electric vehicles are using for either two-wheelers or three-wheelers for only personal usage or passenger travel, like autos or e-rickshaws, we can say, in a low duty electric vehicles, which has the battery rating of less than 25 kilowatt hour battery, and the battery range per charge will be 250 kilometers. And BLDC motors and SRM motors and universal motors like hub motors and other motors can be used for two-wheelers and three-wheelers. And the mission ratings will be roughly from between the 10 to 30 kilowatt missions, or less than that missions, less than 10 kilowatt also preferable. And a Harley Davidson Liver is the one example for the two-wheeler I have presented. Plenty of e-rickshaws the people might be seen in India itself, like in Delhi, or some universities are especially using for traveling inside the university e-rickshaws. And coming to the medium duty electric vehicles, where the battery rating between the 25 kilowatt to 120 kilowatt, and the range of the electric vehicle for the battery charge is 365 kilometers, and the induction motors and permanent magnet missions are preferable for the medium range of electric vehicle, and the mission rating is from 80 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt. And the example we can say that Tesla Model S or some Nissan Leaf S Plus. And coming to the heavy duty purpose, here we are using for passenger travel or goods travelers like luxury buses or and goods trucks and heavy trucks like that. And the battery charge per one single charge of battery, the range of electric vehicle is 136 kilometers, and induction motors and permanent magnet missions are preferable. Greater than 100 kilowatt of the mission is required, and this is one example for the heavy duty electric vehicle. There is no universal statement stated that which mission is preferable for which type of electric vehicle. We can use the BLDC or SRM motors also for medium duty electric vehicles, but for heavy duty electric vehicles only induction motors and PMSM motors are preferable. Nowadays major electrical car manufacturing companies are using the PMSM, but the initially induction motors, people thought that induction motor may not be suitable for the electric vehicles, but the well-known company Tesla as well as Mahindra company in India are using the induction motors for drivetrain of the electric vehicle. So there is no straightforward answer for that which motor is preferable for the electric vehicle. The answer will be any motor we can preferable for low or medium power applications, but for high power only induction motors or PMSM will be preferable. Coming to what are the challenges of the electric vehicles in the perspective of quick transformation from conventional fossil fuel based vehicles to electric vehicles, which are restricting to move the faster penetration of electric vehicles into the reality. Already it came to into the reality, but the transformation, like people are using nowadays also plenty of fossil fuel vehicles. So what can be done, what are the limitations restricting these electric vehicles transformation is firstly higher cost. Like the initial cost or the cost of the vehicle, electric vehicle compared to the conventional fossil fuel vehicle is dominantly high, which is nothing but 5 to 10 times are higher than as compared to the conventional vehicle. And coming to the charging infrastructure, if we will see for the conventional fossil fuel vehicles, every 1 kilometer or every 5 kilometer we will see one petrol station. In cities, every 500 meters we can see one petrol station. Like that, if the charging infrastructure, if we have developed for every 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers, if we will develop one charging station, that will help for the quick transformation of electric vehicles. And next thing will be the range anxiety. Like vehicle range is mainly depending on the battery technology as well as the mission performance. Like if the battery rating is high, we can go with the higher range, we can travel higher range. And if the mission is not efficient, even though battery rating is higher, but if the mission is not efficient, again the vehicle range will come down. So we have to design we have to consider the battery as well as mission in such a way that the vehicle will travel the maximum range. And investor to quick transformation, like as I said earlier, the charging infrastructure is the major limitation. And if the investors like multinational companies, not only electrical manufacturing companies, other multinational companies or Indian governments, countries governments will raise their funds and will invest some money to build up the charging stations, as well as for the initial subsidies for buying the electric vehicles, the motivation towards the electric vehicles with initial subsidies will may help for the quick transformation. And as I said in the previous slides, not completely zero carbon, as the majority of electrical energy is generated by the thermal power plants, it is not a completely zero carbon emissions. And limited type of vehicle choices. Like for example, if I consider the conventional vehicles like Maruti, in Maruti itself, plenty of models, around 10 to 15 or so many models are there in the Maruti itself. Like Alto is there, Ciaz is there, Baleno is there. Like that, plenty of models are there. When it comes to the electric vehicle, the choice of the vehicles are very limited, which is also decreasing the interest on the electric vehicle in the personal perspective. The people as a consumer side, if you will see that if the n number of types are there, the people will pick whatever he want to like. If suppose I have only as a buyer I can develop only two models, but as a consumer side, the customer side, the customer think that only two models there, what to buy, and those two models already all people are using, what is new I should purchase. Like that, people will think that if the number of choices are very less. Unlimited service and maintenance. If the service center and maintenance is not appropriate, the people will may not go with the electric vehicle. Suppose after purchasing the electric vehicle, some maintenance or service is required. There is no expertise engineers or expertise service centers are not available. Then it will be again a downfall of the electric vehicle transformation. And battery technology will plays a major role in the electric vehicle applications, like for the quicker charging as well as quicker dischargement. Like nowadays faster charging stations are coming up, like where we can uh, pump the hundreds of currents into the battery for charging charging configuration. But the battery technology has to support that much charging current as well as that much discharging current. If you will do the number of discharging cycles more, the battery life will degraded. So the technology has to be enhanced in with respect to the battery, so such that if you will do the discharging cycles more, also the battery life should not degraded, and the temperature also other constraint. If you will pump the more currents into the battery, and if you will extract the more currents during discharge time, if the temperature rise also will come into the picture, the temperature rise also further degrades the battery life. So by considering all these aspects, the battery technology has to be advanced. And the advancements of electrical missions, as I said, nowadays people are going with the three-phase missions. And where the if a one phase or two phases will failures, what will happen? And the highly depend nowadays people are mainly depending on the permanent magnets. So if the permanent magnets has having the aging and demagnetizing effects, and the complete system has to be shut down. So we have to think on advanced missions related to which can help for the electric vehicles. So these are the key challenges which are restricting the quick transformation of electric vehicles. There are a lot more other challenges also there with respect to technical point of view. In terms of the missions advancement only I am discussing in this presentation. Remaining all I am not discussing. Just I am giving a brief overview for the what are the challenges. And coming to the overview of the different powertrains for electric vehicles, like this is the basic powertrain for the electric vehicle with the conventional three-phase mission. Here we can observe that battery and power converters, either DC to DC as well as DC to AC power converters, and mission and gearbox, and clutch is here optional. And these are the four major components in the electrical perspective. There are a lot more other converters and other devices also there. For example, for lighting loads, different DC-DC converter is required, and for AC purpose, other power converter is required. I am not disclosing other components, just the key components with respect to the drivetrain I am discussing here. Here the battery will give the required energy, will pump the required energy to drive the electric vehicle, and the power converters will regulate the power flow between the battery and mission. And mission will give the electrical mission will be the heart of the electric vehicle, like the way how in conventional vehicle we are using the IC engine. So in a similar way here we are using the electrical mission to get the required speed and torque. But if we will see that in a gear 1 operation of the conventional vehicle, we require high torque for starting as well as for climbing the gradient routes. And for running condition, we require a higher speeds. So if we want to mimic the same characteristics with the single mission, the mission size will be go up, because the speed into torque is nothing but the power of the electrical mission. So people are using either single speed transmission or multi-speed transmission system, or people are using for boosting up the required torque and speed characteristics of the mission. For example, in a gear 1 operation of the gearbox, the gear ratio will be high, the mission torque is converted to higher torques, and speed is controlled with the power converters. And what are the major requirements in order to select a drivetrain for electric vehicles? Majorly, the drivetrain is nothing but mission. Enhanced range of speed torque with the higher efficiency. Like if you will see the speed torque characteristics of the mission, sorry, like this it will come. If we will design a mission for higher efficient at this point, or at higher speeds, at lower speeds the efficiency will be less. And if you will design a mission for higher efficient at the starting application, the efficient at the running condition it will be less. In the x-axis here the speed, and y-axis it is the torque. And the power handling capability, the people are looking at how many seconds the vehicle will reach the 0 to 100 kilometers, like, or 0 to 120 kilometers. So in order to meet the higher speeds with the lesser acceleration time, the mission has to be handle high power. And as I discussed already, high torque for starting as well as hill climbing application, like where starting the inertia acting on the inertia as well as forces acting on the vehicle is more, so the mission has to deliver much torque as compared to the running condition to meet the to overcome the forces acting on the vehicle. Initially the mass will be high, like that, and during running condition the speeds will be high and the torque will be low. Here we can observe that the power will be constant in the during starting as well as running condition. But if you will design the efficient mission which is at starting condition, it should give the higher torque, and during running condition it should give higher speeds with lower torques. If you will design with the both characteristics, the mission size will go up. And because of that reason people are using the transmission system or gearbox system in the vehicle. And highly reliable and robustness, if a fault occurs in either mission or power converter side or battery cell failures, the electric vehicle should not be shut down, but with some alarming rate or with some signal it should travel from the faulty location to and garage with some reduced power or without reducing the power. and acceptable cost. Along with all this requirement, by incorporating all these requirements, we should design a system with the acceptable cost. And the acoustic noise and torque ripple will plays a major role, because the higher torque ripple of the mission may damage the bearings, as well as will increase the stresses on the slots as well as conductors present in the slot, which will increase the temperature rise also. So it will further leads to the appropriate cooling system, like that other issues will come because of that higher torque ripple. So we have to design with the drive train with the lower acoustic noise and lower torque ripple, and volume of the mission should be as low as much, because the space available in the electric vehicle will be low. So we have to design the, even though the mission is rated for the high power like 100 kilowatt, the mission should be as minimal as much. We have to optimize the design side also, and lower maintenance and higher overloading capability. Like, even though the car is designed for 4 people, sometimes by the craziness, the people will travel for 5 or 6 people or 7 people, as we all know in the student age. As the crazy things, we used to travel with 6 or 7 people for some durations, or someday we used to travel like that. So to meet the overloading capability, we have to design a drive. The drive is capable to take that much of overload. These are the key requirements in order to select a drivetrain for electric vehicles. And coming to the existed powertrains for electric vehicles, I am considering the Tesla model as a reference purpose. I am presenting here. The single drive based electric vehicle I have shown here, where the rear wheels are driven with the induction motor along with the power converter, has presented here. Dual motor has presented also by Tesla Motors, and here the two motors has used for the front wheels as well as back wheels. Here the two motors are sharing the required speed and torque characteristics of the vehicle. By using the two motors, where the advantages are coming like this: with the single motor, the acceleration time is 5.3 seconds, 0 to 60 miles per hour. The top speed is 140 miles per hour. And by using the dual motor drive, we are getting the lesser acceleration time as well as higher miles per hour, and the range of the vehicle also increasing. Apart from that, because of these two motors are not designed with the same power rating of single mission, this rating of these two missions somewhat lesser than as compared to this mission. If you will see here, if the both missions are rated for the same rating which is presented at the single motor, then this range should be doubled, or this acceleration time should be doubled. But it is not happening. So I don't have exact figures of these ratings of these two missions, because the company will not disclose like those ratings. We can think in a basic manner. If the two motors are somewhat lesser rating as compared to the single motor drive, because of that only the acceleration time is ending around the 4.4 seconds. And the torque and speed, power density with respect to the single motor, the dual motor drive has high and accurate control we can do, because the controlling of the either front wheels as well as back wheels, we have an option. And reduced power ratings of the resources. Like as I said earlier, this power rating of this mission is somewhat higher as compared to these two power rating of the mission. So associated power converters and associated resources ratings will come down. And this is some reference related to this thing. And coming to the four-wheel drive, Mitsubishi Motors and Porsche Motors Germany has implemented the four-wheel drive for electric vehicle applications. This is majorly used for the sports applications, like where the accurate control is required, and the people are traveling for trekking applications like slippery roads or curvy roads, where the unpredictable or challenging roads are facing. At that situation, the four-wheel drive will be helpful, and lesser acceleration time. As I said earlier, with the two-wheel drive, we are getting the acceleration time from 5.3 seconds to 4.4 seconds. Similarly, if we will go with the four-wheel drive, the acceleration time will come down further, and the torque and power density will be higher for this four-wheel drive, and the enhanced torque speed range, because of the four wheels. Four wheels are driven with four different motors. These are the existed powertrains. If you will compare the existed powertrains like Audi e-tron 2018 model and Tesla Model S 2012 model and Nissan Leaf 2010 and Hyundai 2016 model and Porsche 2019 models, and majority of the automobile companies except Tesla models and Mahindra models using the permanent magnets. and the people are using two motors for getting the required torque speed characteristics of the drivetrain, and people are using single speed transmission for almost majority of the automobile companies, and the Porsche Motors has proposed with the multi transmission system for getting the required speed torque characteristics. If we will go with the PMSM, the major drawbacks will be the high grade permanent magnets are required, and aging and demagnetizing of magnetization effects of the magnets will lead to the complete shutdown, and this is related to the permanent magnet motors. If you will go with the induction motors, induction motors as well as synchronous motor, the reliability is somewhat lower. If a single phase fault occurs in a three phase mission or two phase fault occurs in a three phase mission, the entire system has to be shut down. Under single phase fault failures, the mission is unable to self start and we require to run the mission with some external prime movers or auxiliary circuits. So why the advancements in electrical missions are required as compared to the existed powertrains? We have from here we have thought process went. Firstly, the reliability. If all the existed drivetrains are designed with the three-phase mission, so the reliability or fault-tolerant capability will plays a crucial role in the electric vehicles. Like we are traveling in a forest areas or desert areas, rural areas. If a fault occurs in a mission, one phase or two phases, the vehicle is unable to move. That situation has to be come out, and some alternative electrical missions or advanced electrical missions has to adopt, where one phase or two phase failures also the mission the drive has to be, the electrical mission is supported to run the electric vehicle from the faulty location to garage or service center. And next thing is we are going with the multi motors, either dual motors or multi motors, to meet the starting torque at starting, high starting torque at starting, and high speed at running conditions. So while going with the multi motors, the size constraint as well as power constraint and other constraints of the will limit the electric drivetrain design. So the multi-motor drive may be preferable for sports and accurate control applications like trucking applications and sports application, but a mid-range vehicle may not be preferable this multi motors. And coming to the torque and power sharing by the each phase, as we said that in general 100 kilowatt mission is preferable for mid-range electric vehicle. So the power shared by the three-phase mission per phase will be the 33 kilowatt. So it will be huge. Based on that, per phase is 33 kilowatt. The ratings of the semiconductor devices which are used to give a regulated power to the mission, the ratings will be high. And higher dependency of the permanent magnets in case of permanent magnet synchronous missions. And this is the other thing. Here the magnets may be demagnetization and aging effects may comes into the picture. And coming to the weight constraint, the weight of the Tesla model has the rough numbers I have considered from this reference, and the weight of the complete model is 2108 kgs, and in this the key components weights will be 600 kgs of the battery and 160 to 200 kgs of the electrical motor plus inverter, and gearbox or transmission system is 80 to 150 kgs. If you will see here, the mission along with the inverter and gearbox is lying around 350 kgs. So higher weight in the other in with compared to the total weight of the electric vehicle, like the major around 40% it is having the total weight of the electric vehicles. So these limitations are these points, instead of saying limitations, these points are stressing to go towards the new developments in the electrical missions. As of now, we have discussed the few points which are focused towards the advancement in electrical missions. Now I am discussing about the stressing towards the multi-phase missions, why multi-phase missions are required. And see here, with the advantage of multi-phase missions, the lesser space harmonics we are able to get. Like for three-phase mission, the fifth and seventh harmonics are the dominant lower order harmonics. If you will go with the multi-phase, the dominant lower order harmonics will be other thing. Like for 9-phase mission, it will be either 17 or 19th are the lower order harmonics. I am going to explain in detail these things in the coming slides, and just I am giving here brief description. And higher efficiency as compared to the three-phase mission, if the both missions are either three-phase mission as well as multi-phase mission are designed for the same power rating, the efficiency of the multi-phase mission will be higher because of the reduction of stator copper loss and better power distribution. As I said earlier, the power shared by the each phase of the three-phase mission is 33%. If you will go with the multi-phase, the power distribution will be better and improved fault tolerant capability. If a fault occurs in either one phase or two phases of the multi-phase mission, is able to run without losing the self-starting capability. And reduce ratings of the switches. As the power is shared among the n number of phases, the switches ratings also will come down. And torque enhancement by injecting the lower order harmonics. Like with the for the three-phase mission, only one DQ plane will exist, which is causing for the used for the production of torque. Whereas with the multi-phase missions, several DQ in the dynamic model, we can see that several DQ planes will happen. By using the other DQ planes like third harmonic DQ plane,
Dear participants, dear participants, GVSSN Sarma, GVSSN Sri Rama Sarma, please mute your audio. GVSSN Sri Rama Sarma, please mute your audio. Okay, sir. Sir, it's muted, sir.
Okay, sir. And torque enhancement by injecting the lower order harmonics. As we see that in three-phase missions, only one DQ plane will exist, which is related to the fundamental components and which is helpful for the torque production. If you will go with the multi-phase missions, like five-phase mission, we will see that two DQ planes. Like first one will be the first harmonic, like fundamental component DQ component, and the second one will be the third harmonic DQ components. By using the third harmonic DQ components, we can enhance the torque of the mission, which can be helpful during the overloading conditions. And the preferable applications of the multi-phase missions, where the people are focusing towards the multi-phase missions, are mainly using in the electric traction, as well as aircraft application and electric vehicles and ship propulsion applications. As of now, the research is going on these applications, but in the reality also, people are working with the multi-phase missions. Maybe in the span of another 5 years, the multi-phase missions driven this application we can see. And coming to the detailed advantage of multi-phase missions, if you will go the space harmonics firstly, this is the order of space harmonics exist for any electrical mission. This is the V is the space harmonic component, and P is the number of pole pairs, and Q is the time harmonic component, which is representing the space harmonic component, and N is an integer, which is a positive as well as negative integer, and M is the number of phases. For a three-phase two-pole mission, we can see the order of time harmonics, which are representing the space harmonic fields. If you will go with if you will see the fundamental component like 50 Hz component, if you will see here, the fifth and seventh are the dominant lower order harmonics. And here we can see that fifth and seventh are dominant lower order harmonics for the three-phase mission. The fifth harmonic components and associated harmonic fields are presented here. Like similarly, the seventh time harmonic component and associated space harmonic fields are like this. And compared to the fundamental time harmonic component, this component and this component may not be equal. Like here also 7p is seventh harmonic driven harmonic field, space harmonic field is there. Here also seventh harmonic space harmonic field is there. But compared to the fundamental component, this seventh time harmonic component magnitude is somewhat lesser. Because of that, we are saying that fifth and seventh are the dominant lower order harmonics. And coming to the five-phase mission, if you will see with the five-phase mission, the dominant lower order harmonics are now 9th and 11th. And the magnitude of other space harmonics also coming down. If you will compare from here to here, we can see from these two tables, the lower order harmonics are also now 9th and 11th, and the magnitude associated with this harmonics as compared to the fifth harmonic and seventh harmonic, if you will consider the same fundamental in the both missions, if the magnitude of this and magnitude of this will be somewhat lesser as compared to the three-phase mission. Similarly, with the nine-phase mission, it will go a further reduction of space harmonics, magnitude of space harmonics, like 17th and 19th harmonics are the dominant. And on top of that, that in general the torque pulsation of the electrical machines is defined with the two oppositely rotating magnetic fields, and the product of those magnitude is defined the torque pulsations. Like here we can see that these two fields are rotating in a opposite manner, and these two fields are rotating in a opposite manner. The first and fifth harmonics are rotating in a opposite manner. These space harmonic fields, the interaction of these two space harmonic fields will, and as well as the magnitude of this product of these two magnitude of these two space harmonic fields will cause for the torque ripples in the electrical machine. So the order of the time harmonics which are causing the higher torque ripple will be this is the equation, which is nothing but 2nm plus or minus 1, which is fifth and seventh are the dominant lower order time harmonics which are causing for the higher torque pulsations in the machine. And the frequency of the torque pulsation from here also we can observe like the difference between these two harmonic fields, like 5 minus of minus 1, it is 6 omega times it is rotating the harmonic fields. The torque pulsation frequency is 6 omega. From this equation also we can observe like n equals to 1 I am keeping, and m is the 3 phase, it will be 6 omega. Whereas for 9 phase mission it will be 18 omega it will come. For 5 phase mission it will come 10 omega. That means the torque ripple frequency also increasing, as well as the torque ripple magnitude is coming down here because of the reduction of magnitude of space harmonics. And coming to the improved efficiency, let us consider two missions like M1 and M2 phases, like 3-phase mission and 9-phase mission. For example, M1 I am considering as a 3-phase mission, and M2 I am considering as a multi-phase mission. And if both missions are designed for the same rating of the power and same torque, which are delivering at the same speed and with the same number of poles and same core material, then the electrical loading of the missions can be equated like this. Where here the K1 is the electrical loading, and this is the distribution factor, this is the pitch factor. If you will equate these two, and the copper loss associated with the electrical missions will be like this, where the number of conductors per slot and amount of copper has considered same in both missions, then we can derive the final equation like this. If at all the detailed analysis of multi-phase missions are required, I will share the review paper on multi-phase missions at the end of this presentation. The people who are interested may go through that reference. And from this equation we can see that for the mission with the 4 phases and mission with the 5 phases, the reduction of stator copper loss we can observe here. With the 9-phase mission, the copper loss reduction is happening with the 7.88%. That means the reduction of loss is nothing but the improvement in the efficiency. Coming to the better torque and power sharing, as well as the fault tolerant capability of the electrical multi-phase missions. See, this is the conventional drive block diagram of the 3-phase mission. Here the three-phase mission is feeding with the 3-phase inverter. Here the power shared by the each phase is 33%. If for a multi-phase mission, if you will go with the n number of legs or m number of phases, here the power is shared by the m number of phases. Like that previously, that is 33% for 3 phase. If you will go with the 9 phase, it is coming down to 11% per phase. And according to that, the switch ratings, switch voltage and current ratings are coming down. If you will maintain the same current in the per phase, the voltage rating of the batteries will come down here. Suppose for 3-phase mission, the stator volt per ton is maintained constant in the both missions, the voltage rating of the battery will come down 3 times for 9-phase missions. And the current per phase is maintained as the same. Thereby the voltage is coming down by 3 times, but current is shared by the 9 parallel branches in the 9-phase mission, so that the power rating will be in the both drives can be same. And suppose if a fault occurs in a 2 phases of the either switches or in the 2 phases of the electrical mission, so the mission is unable to start and the complete system has to be shut down. So the alternative solution will be, if a fault occurs in a multi-phase mission, either 1 phase or 2 phase or n number of phases up to n minus 3 phases, like for 9-phase mission up to 6 number of phase faults, we can operate the mission with a reduced power or reduced duration in the output power. We can drive the vehicle with the rated torque but the reduced speeds. because the power is reduced by, suppose for 3 phases fault occurs in the 9 phase mission, the power is reduced by the 33%. Accordingly, we have to reduce the speed of the mission in order to meet the rated torque applying on the mission, applying on the electric vehicles. And as of now, we have discussed the advantages of the multi-phase mission. What is the advantages with the pole phase modulation and why it is suitable for electric vehicles with along with the by using the advantage of multi-phase mission. I am going to explain in the coming slides. Here we can see that the pole phase modulation is not a new technique. It is already presented in the 1970s or 1980s by the Professor Lippo and other Toliet and other professors. It is not a new technique. It is a one kind of speed control technique where the number of poles as well as phases of the mission are varied in a constant ratio without changing the stator winding terminals. How it can be achieved, I am going to show with the graphical manner in the coming slides. The definition of pole phase modulation I am trying to convey here. Without changing the stator winding terminals, we are changing the number of poles as well as the phases of the mission. If we will change the number of poles, the speed of the mission will change as well as torque of the mission will change. Since the power is directly proportional to the speed and torque, the power is directly proportional to the speed and torque. During the high pole operation, we can get the high torque and reduced speeds, and during the low pole operation, we can get the higher speeds and reduced torque. And here we can see that the operation in high pole operation, the torque will be high because of the higher number of poles. How it can be? Think that suppose the power is directly proportional to torque into speed. Here the torque is high. If the torque is high with the higher number of poles, the speed has to be come down, and but with the 120 F by P equation also we can say that if the number of poles are high, the speed is low. If the speed is coming down, the torque has to be increased. Because of that, higher torque in the high pole mode we are achieving, which is helpful for starting acceleration as well as climbing the gradient routes at low speeds. And during low pole operation, the speed will be high, but the torque is coming down. And if we are not convincing with this equation, if you see the dynamic modeling of the in missions, the torque equation is directly proportional to the P by 2. That is nothing but torque equals to P by 2 into some inductance into some dq components of the currents. So here the poles are high, the torque will be the high, and if the poles are low, the torque will be low and the speed we are getting high. And the generalized equations of the ppm will be like this. Here the q is the number of stator slots, and p1 is the pole pairs, and q1 is the slots per pole per phase, and m is the number of phases. And if the the mission is designed to operate at two different pole phase modulation, that means two different pole combinations, like this is for high pole, this is for high pole, and this is for low pole. The ratio will be, the pole ratio will be like this, p2 by p1. If we will equate these two, and we can get this end with this equation. The comparison with the speed torque characteristics, if I am considering the IC engine based electric vehicle, IC engine based conventional fossil fuel vehicle, where the gears will be different gear operation, we are getting different torque speed characteristics. Like if you will see the gear 1 operation, the torque will be high and the speed will be low. Here the gear ratio will be high, the IC engine delivering the constant torque, but the gearbox has converting that given torque into the in a certain ratio. Like gear 1 it is high torque, and gear 2 will be somewhat lesser torque as compared to the gear 1, and gear 5 we are able to achieve the higher speeds with reduced rated torque. And similar thing if we are getting with the gearbox, if we will design a electrical mission which is capable to operate at this similar to the IC engine, from this point where the thought process went, can we design the gearless electrical mission which can capable to eliminate the gearbox in the electrical vehicle system. From this point we have thought that, and the Professor Shivakumar sir research team at the IIT Hyderabad, and that I am also one student, we thought that why can't we remove the why can't we eliminate the gearbox system from the existed electric vehicles by using by effectively utilizing the multi-phase missions. Like this is the one example of 45 phase missions, and detailed operation of the pole phase modulated induction motor drives I am explaining in the coming slide. Just for the showing the advantage at the initial step I am showing here. Here I am considering the 45 phase mission, 2-pole mission. The same mission can be operated there, 3-phase 30-pole mission operation, and 5-phase 18-pole operation, and 9-phase 10-pole operation, and 15-phase 6-pole operation. Here we can see that the gear 1 is exactly symmetrical with the gear 1 of the conventional IC engine based vehicles. Like here, during the low speed operation, we are able to achieve the 15 times the rated torque. Suppose if the mission is designed for the 2-pole 45 phase mission, 45 phase operation, then the same mission can be operated at the 30-pole and 3-phase operation, where the 15 times of the rated torque we are achieving. And similarly, gear 2 operation and gear 5 operation, the exactly similar characteristics we are achieving. Even the transition between one pole operation to other pole operation has to be done effective manner, and in between the speed torque, like suppose in the 3-phase 30-pole operation we are able to get the speed of 15 times lesser than the synchronous speed, like 3000 rpm is the synchronous speed at 2-pole operation. For 15 times lesser speed we are getting. In order to meet from 0 speed to that speed, we have to do either with the V/F control or any speed control techniques we have to use. In between speeds, we have to operate with the V/F controls or any other control schemes. And if you will see here, the interesting thing, if you will consider the braking operation or regenerative operation of the electric vehicle, while applying the brake, the speeds will be roughly around 20 to 30%. There, if the speed is 20 to 30%, the power is already, we discussed that power is directly proportional to the torque as well as speed. If the speeds are 20%, definitely the power of the mission is also 20%. The power which can extract from the vehicle will be the 20%. So if you will see here, the 3-phase mission shown there dotted line, the rated torque T2, the whatever the denotation T2 is representing the 3-phase 2-pole mission. The power of the 3-phase 2-pole mission is presented here, and voltage rating of the 3-phase 2-pole mission is this one. If you will see here, the rated power is achieving during the steady state condition only. That means if the mission is operated at the lower speed during the braking operation, we are not operating with the 100 km per hour. So mission is operating at suppose around 30% speeds. The maximum power we can extract during the braking or regenerative operation with 30% only. By using this pole phase modulation missions, we can see that the maximum power is achieving at the 30% itself, and ns by 9% of the 9 times of the synchronous speed itself, and 5 times of the each and every pole combination we are able to attain the maximum power, which can be beneficiable during the regenerative braking operation also. And if you will see the voltage ratings, the voltage rating required for the 3-phase mission, it will be like this, and where the voltage rating required for the multi-phase mission, that is 45 phase mission, will be 15 times it is coming down. And these are the key advantages and key comparison of speed torque characteristics of the multi-phase mission. Multi-phase missions with the advantage of pole phase modulation I have presented here. With this, we can eliminate the gearbox system in the electric vehicle. And coming to the how the pole phase modulation principle can work, and how we are changing the number of poles and phases without changing any stator terminals, I am going to discuss like here. And this is the general winding diagram for the single 9-phase 4-pole mission with 36 slot arrangement. Here the conductors under one pole, either north pole or south pole, will carry the same current either upward direction or downward direction. Suppose upward direction during the north pole, here the magnetic fields in this north pole, according to the thumb rule, we can say that the flux is entering into the north pole side, and the south pole side flux is leaving from the surface, and the current is coming down here. If we will change the some excitation of this some windings, thereby the number of poles, how the number of poles will vary, I am showing in the next slides. Suppose this is the winding diagram. For the simplification, whatever the winding diagram I have shown in the previous slide, the same winding diagram has assumed here. The number of conductors are placed from this to here. Here I am considering 12 phase and 2-pole mission, and slot per pole per phase is 2, and number of slots are 48. If I will change the excitation or current direction of the few conductors which are placed on the north pole, So the associated, the return path of the conductors, so the south pole side also it will change. So that eventually we can see that we are able to change the number of poles by changing the excitation of few windings. If the appropriate inverter is connected at this here we have to connect the inverter to appropriately for changing the current excitation of the windings. If you'll see here the north pole and south pole here, because of the winding excitation change, the south pole is forming and associated north pole is forming here. The south pole and associated north pole is forming here. So in a circular manner we can visualize that eventually again we are forming a two poles only. There is no pole change happening with the even number of pole change, like 2 poles to 4 pole change. It is not happening in the actual pole change. We want, even though we want 4 pole changes, but we are getting the resultant 2 pole combination, like these two fluxes will be additive and these two fluxes will be additive. This will form a 2 pole combination. If I'll go with the 24, again further another combination I have chosen where the poles are varying from 2 poles to 8 poles. Like some winding excitation have changed in between the windings, like 4 conductors have considered under during the north pole, and the bunch of conductors are there in between one conductor to other conductor. For simplicity purpose I have shown here the excitation with respect to this conductor has changed now. Because of that reason the south has changed to north pole, and this the conductor and associated change is happening here. North pole is forming, and with respect to the one side it is changing, means definitely alternate opposite side also it will change, and the associated changes happening here and here. We can see that in a circular manner the eventually it is forming as a 6 pole, like a south pole, and this is act as a south pole similarly, and this is the same north pole, and these two poles will be the fluxes in these two poles, and these two poles will be additive and it will form a one big pole. And again these two north and south poles will be as it is, and this north pole and this north pole, if we think on a circular manner, if the poles are forming in this manner, so this the poles will now the pole width and poles are unequal poles are forming, which leads to the vibrations as well as noise of the vehicle, noise of the mission, which may increase the stresses on the conductors associated with these poles will be high. Stress on these conductors will be high, and the stresses will be unequal, as well as stress on the slots and as well as bearings will increase, which may deteriorates the mission performance as well as life of the mission. So what can be done? So the generalization what we have proposed at IIT Hyderabad is the pole change ratio, how to select the pole change ratio in order to make the symmetrical pole combinations. For that we have worked on 9-phase mission, mainly Professor Shivkumar sir and initially Dr. Umesh has worked on this thing, and I am also a part of member in that group. And 9-phase mission I have considered and 2 pole for designed for 2 pole pairs. If we will change the excitation of the middle conductors, so we are able to form the equal number of poles, like the conductors associated with this, the change in this conductors is forming the south pole, the change in excitation of these conductors associated the south pole is forming the north pole here. So the equal bits of the poles are forming. If we will see in a circular manner also, again it will forming the 6 pole thing. So the generalization what we have kept it here, if the poles must be P1 less than the P2, like the whatever the initial condition we are designing the mission, suppose the mission is designed for 2 pole 9-phase operation, the pole change will be a odd positive integer, like 2 to 6 we can change, or 2 to 5 we can change, or 2 to 7 that means ratio I am discussing 1 to 3 we can change, like the ratio 2 to 6 is nothing but 3 ratio, and 2 to 10 pole will be again 5 ratio. Here we have discussed the k equals to 3 and k equals to 3 and k equals to 5. The pole change ratio should be odd in order to get the symmetrical poles formation. This is the actual phenomena of the pole phase modulation, where how we are changing the poles with respect to the by changing the number of phases. And what is the advantage we can see here with the conventional mission? Suppose a conventional mission is designed for 3-phase 2-pole operation. The rated torque of the mission is constant, but by varying the V/F control, speed control, or any other controls, we can change the speeds. But the designed torque of the mission, suppose the mission is designed for 100 Newton meter, then the more than that 100 Newton meter we can't achieve in the operation. Whereas in the pole phase modulation, we can achieve the 3 times of the rated torque in the high pole operation. During low pole operation, it is designed for 2 pole operation. It is suppose some T Newton meter it is designed. Here we can get the with respect to K into pole change ratio into T times. Based on this pole phase modulation, we have proposed the 36 slot mission for electric vehicles, and we have various pole phase modulated induction motor drives we have proposed for electric vehicles as a part of research team at IIT Hyderabad. 36 slot mission we have proposed with 1:3 gear ratios, and the 72 slot mission with 1:3 gear ratios, and 60 slot with 3 gear ratios, and 90 slot mission with 5 gear ratios. It is exactly matching with the IC engine 5 gear IC engine vehicles. Even though with the two gear mission also we can preferable, where in between the with the low pole operation we are able to getting the high speed operation, and in high pole operation like the 12 pole operation we are able to get the high torque. So this 2 gear ratio mission also sufficient. In between the speeds we are able to manage with the control technique, speed control technique, either V by F or any other vector control techniques. In between speeds can be manageable. And but whatever the requirement of the high starting torque at initial condition, and high speeds at running condition, we can meet with the 2 speeds ratios also. And coming to the battery arrangement, how the battery arrangement will be the in existing electric vehicles will be like this. Again, I have considered as a reference of Tesla motor drivetrain. Here the batteries are kept presented at the bottom side of the vehicle. Here the batteries, lithium-ion batteries, are connected in a series and parallel manner. If you will see here, the battery pack will be higher number of batteries are connected in series to meet the suppose 300 three-phase induction motor drive is there. For that, a minimum voltage rating of 600 volt DC is required to meet the 230 volts RMS per phase. These are the rough numbers. It will be maybe differable with the actual numbers, but the according to the three-phase mission, the required per phase RMS voltage will be 230 volts. To meet that thing, 600 volts DC bus is required. In order to meet the 600 volt DC from the lithium ion, small lithium ion cells, that is 2.2 volts or 8 volts or 12 volts cells, we need to connect the several number of batteries in series. So if a fault occurs in a single cell, is nothing but reliability is drastically will change. Otherwise, for each and cell has to be consist of one bypass circuit or auxiliary circuit. If a fault occurs in a one single cell, we need to bypass that cell. Otherwise, if a fault occurs in a series connected cells, the entire system has to be shut down. The reliability perspective, this battery configuration as well as the voltage rating is high. The voltage rating of the power semiconductor switches in order to handle this voltage level should be go up. Like the 600 volts DC is there, in order to block this much of voltage during off state, the switches voltage rating also should be 600 volts. With the pole phase modulated induction motor drive, by using the multi-phase missions advantage, the battery ratings we can keep it similar way, but the series connected battery cells are coming down now, because as the voltage volt per ton in the multi-phase mission as well as three-phase mission we are keeping as a constant. So the voltage is coming down to 3 times as compared to the three-phase mission. Suppose 9-phase mission I am considering, the voltage rating will come down by 3 times, like that is 200 volts. We can see it here. And because of this 200 volts, the number of connected batteries in a series manner is reducing, but in a parallel manner we are increasing to meet the same power rating. Like the current we are increasing in a parallel branches, but the voltage for single series branch is coming down. Thereby, if a fault occur in a single series branch, we can isolate that entire series branch, we can operate with the remaining parallel branches. Thereby here the reliability is high, as well as the ratings of the switches is coming down. This is the one of the advantage with compared with the other advantage as compared to the three-phase mission over the multi-phase pole phase modulated induction motor drive. And coming to the brief comparison of conventional mission as well as pole phase modulated induction motor, here we can see that with respect to the efficiency aspect, it is low with the three-phase mission, and the proposed multi-phase mission will be the high, and torque per phase will be the high in three-phase mission. These things are already we have discussed. Those people we are interested, I am sharing this PPT, please go through this thing. And the main advantage what we are getting is gearbox we are eliminating here. With the 3-phase mission, in order to meet the high starting torque as well as high speeds at running condition, the mission size should go up. But we are with the mission itself, we are able to generate the same characteristics with the IC engine. Because of that, the cost will reduce as well as maintenance and design and weight and all things will come down, as well as space present in the vehicle also we can effectively utilize. And the reliability with respect to battery perspective as well as ratings of the semiconductor perspective, the multi-phase mission will be much better. And the reliability with respect to mission as well as power converters also, the 3-phase mission the operation is not possible, whereas with the multi-phase pole-phase modulation drive which can be preferable. Challenges what we have the major challenges we have identified, and based on that we have worked towards the multi-phase pole phase modulated induction motor drives. Initially we have implemented the pole phase modulated techniques for electric vehicle applications. After that we have faced some challenges, but that challenges based on that challenges our thought process went on our research. We are doing some research on these pole phase modulated induction motor drives. Firstly, during high pole operation, as in high pole operation the number of phases has to be come down. Suppose in 9 phase 4 pole mission we are operating at 3 phase 12 pole mode. In 3 phase again the dominant harmonics again will be the 5th and 7th will be the dominant harmonics, which will increase the magnitude of space harmonics as well as the torque ripple will increase. And because of the higher number of poles, the magnetizing inductance will come down, which results in the replicates the magnetizing current will increases, as well as the efficiency and power factor is coming down. So we need to address that thing. And the 2-level excitation, because of the 2-level excitation has the much content of time higher magnitude of time harmonics, which will further increases the torque ripple content of the mission. So we need to design an optimal multi-level inverter, an optimal inverter structure which can minimize the lower order time harmonics. Not only by we can implement the simply multi-level inverters. If we will go with the conventional multi-level inverter, the ratings as well as number of devices will go up, the circuit complexities will increases. So we need to design an appropriate manner. And coming to the DC link voltage utilization, in order to meet the overloading capability, the DC link voltage in a linear modulation has to be increased. Suppose if we'll go with the 3-phase space vector PWM, the enhancement in linear modulation range will be the 15.4%. If we will go with the 9-phase mission, it is only with the 9-phase space vector PWM we are able to achieve with the 1.54% only. But for n-phase mission it is 0%. So we need to look into this thing also. And the final thing is, for getting the higher number of pole phase combinations, we are going with the higher number of slots. So which if we are increasing the slots, number of slots, which may increases the core size and volume of the mission. So we need to implement a appropriate pole phase modulated drive with lesser number of slots as well as higher number of pole phase combinations. And appropriate control during pole phase transition also other challenge. These are the challenges what we have worked with respect to performance improvement of pole phase modulated induction motor drives for traction applications. Firstly, I am focusing towards the linear modulation improvement. Here we can see that the 9-phase mission I have considered here, and this is the 9-phase 4-pole operation. The excitations will be like this. Excitation, the phase windings are displaced by 40 degrees. Here we can see A phase and B phase and C phase and D phase like this. In 9-phase because of the 9-phase excitation 360 by 9, we are getting 40-degree displacement in the 9-phase operation. ADG windings, here we can see that A and D and G windings are, even though G is located here, for simplicity purpose I have shown here, these 3 windings are displaced by 120 degrees. Similarly, in other 6 windings also we can group it as a 3-phase windings for a simplification of control as well as simplified visualization of multi-phase mission. If we will change the number of excitation to the different windings, like R phase, whatever the ADG windings I have shown above, I am changing the excitation, thereby the phase winding voltage excitation to the A phase will be 0 degrees here, and G phase will be 120 degree for D phase, and G phase will be getting 240 degrees. but where same phase are getting electrically in phase but mechanically displaced by 120 degrees. We can see here R phase is 0 degree, but the same R phase with the 0 degree reference is sitting at 120 degree phase shift as well as 240 degree phase shift, even though it are electrically in phase but mechanically displaced. Here we can see that if the power equals to torque into speed, if the statement is not convincing, if people are not convincing how the torque is torque is enhancing and how the poles are varying, the mechanical angle and electrical angle, we can compare it here. The mechanical angle is here in between the two phase, it is the 60 degrees, and between the two consecutive phase it is 20 degrees. That means 3 times we are changing the electrical angle. That means 3 times we are increasing the number of poles. And first we have analyzed the grouping concept for 9-phase 4-pole operation like this. Group 1 we have considered as a first 120 degree phase shifted windings, and group 2 has next 120 phase shifted windings, and group 3 has other 120 phase shifted windings. Like these 3 groups are shifted by the 40 degree phase shift. And this here each winding group has a 120 phase shifted windings. This gives a flexibility to adapt the 3-phase space vector PWMs with a 3-phase space vector PWM with appropriate circuit configurations, circuit modifications. And in 3-phase we can observe that the same ADG windings are forming a resultant R phase. Like in 3-phase operation, the rotating magnetic field will be 3-phase only. In a 3-phase operation, the rotating magnetic field will be 3-phase only. Like these 3 windings are coming electrically in phase and generating a resultant rotating magnetic field, that is nothing but R phase and Y phase. These 3 windings are generating a resultant rotating magnetic field of Y phase, and this is B phase. Like 3-phase rotating magnetic field we are getting in 3-phase operation. From this 3 windings and associated inverter legs, we can use an effective manner to improve the performance of the 3-phase 12-pole mode. And initially, how the linear modulation can be improved with the space vector PWM I am explaining here. Here we can see that with the carrier-based 3-phase space vector PWM, that is nothing but triplen harmonic injected space vector PWM is presented here. Like with that triplen harmonic injected space vector PWM, we are getting 15.4% of DC link utilization. With the N phase, like 9-phase space vector PWM, 9th multiples of harmonics are injected into the sine wave, and the associated DC link voltage utilization is 1.54% only. If we will implement the 3-phase, or if we will inject the triplen harmonics in the 9-phase system, it will lead to the circulating currents because of the 40 degree phase shifted displacement. So we need to design an appropriate system which can where we can implement the 3-phase space vector PWM for improving the DC link voltage utilization. If we will go with the N-phase space vector PWM, the associated DC link voltage utilization will be 0% only. And this is the 2-level inverter structure proposed for the 9-phase induction motor driving the 9-phase induction motor drive. Here we can see that in 3-phase operation these 3 windings are in phase, and in 9-phase operation these 3 windings are 120 phase shifted thing. Here we are implementing the 3-phase carrier based 3-phase space vector PWM, and we are isolating the neutrals by using the bidirectional switches B1 and B2, bidirectional switches, or it may be relays, because thereby the neutrals, the circulating currents flowing between these 2 groups and these 2 groups will be blocked between here these 2 neutrals, and the 0 sequence voltage blocked by these 4 quadrant switches. And during the 3-phase operation, these 3 windings are forming a resultant phase R phase, and these 3 windings are forming resultant Y phase, and these 3 windings are forming resultant B phase. So in order to provide the active path for phase currents, we need to turn on the switches, and thereby the active phase currents for the 3-phase 12-pole operation can be achieved. These are the carrier based 3-phase space vector PWM implemented for 9-phase 12-pole operation. This is for 3-phase 12-pole operation. The switching logic will be the reference is greater than the carrier wave, the switch S1 will turn on, and S1 dash will be complementary to the S1, and the switching logic for the other switches will be similar. with respect to the phase references, associated phase references. And the switching logic in the 3-phase mode also same, but the phase windings are displaced with the 120 degrees only. And here we can see the some flux. We can visualize how the poles are forming in 9-phase 4-pole operation as well as 3-phase 12-pole operation. Here we can see some animated images from the ANSYS simulation, how the poles are forming, like 4 poles are forming with the 9-phase excitation. Here we can see that how the 4 poles are forming. If the same mission is excited with the 3-phase excitation with the 120 degree displacement, how the 12 poles are forming, here we can see. Instead of 4 poles, how the 12 poles are forming, we can able to observe here. Here the conductors, the 3 slots are associated with the 1 pole, whereas in the previous thing, the 9 slots are associated. The middle 3 slots, we are changing the current direction. That means the middle 3 slots we are changing, thereby the poles, previously one big pole is there in 9-phase 4-pole. Now the changing the in between conductors, we are able to changing the number of poles. This is the experimental waveforms. Here how the circulating currents are flowing if we are not using the bidirectional switches and we are using the space vector PWM. The triplet harmonics will come into the pictures, like dominant third harmonics are coming in the voltage as well as currents. If you will use the isolated neutrals, the third harmonic components are eliminating from the phase voltage as well as phase current. And coming to the torque ripple, we have achieved the linear modulation improvement with the 3-phase space vector PWM by appropriately grouping the windings into the 3 set of 3-phase windings. But the torque ripple with the 2-level voltage is high, as we can see it here from the ANSYS simulation. And these are the speed response of the drive. As of now, we have seen that how to improve the linear modulation, but how to improve the torque ripple performance, it is affect the efficiency as well as power factor also, how it can be improved with the multi-level inverter configurations as well as other inverter configurations by effectively utilizing the mission windings. I am going to discuss in the coming slides. And performance improvement of the pole phase modulated improvement drives. This is the actual power converter feeding with the multi-phase mission. Here we can directly use the multi-level inverters to improve the harmonics present in the phase voltage, which will eventually reduce the torque ripple of the mission. This is one way. And other way is in 3-phase operation. We have seen that in 3-phase operation, each phase is forming with the 3 identical windings which are electrically in phases. So we can effectively use the windings present in the mission itself for generating the multi-level voltage. First, I am discussing with the multi-level voltage generated with the multi-phase mission windings without using the multi-level inverters. I am explaining in the coming slides at the initial stage. After that, by using the multi-level inverters, how it can be, I will discuss. And here we have seen that each phase in 3-phase 12-pole operation, each phase is nothing but 3 identical voltage windings which are electrically in phase, like R phase and R phase and R phase and Y phase and Y phase, Y phase. Like that, 3 windings are electrically in phase, like we can see it here. And BEH are in phase and CFI are in phase. So the inverter legs associated with these windings are also 3. These 3 inverter legs are getting same reference wave, so that without changing the fundamental voltage to these windings, we can change the carriers of these 3 windings. We can create a phase shift between the carriers of these 3 inverter legs. Eventually, we can get the multi-level voltage across the effective winding, even though it is showing as a 3 windings, but these 3 windings are electrically in phase. So the resultant of these 3 windings rotating magnetic field will generate an actual R phase rotating magnetic field. So the harmonics in the R phase rotating magnetic field will come down if we phase shift the carriers of these 3 inverter windings. And here we can see that firstly we have displaced the carriers of these 3 inverter legs associated with the windings with the 60-degree carrier phase shift. Here we can see that the 60-degree phase shift between the 3 carriers. This is the inverter leg 1, this is for inverter leg 2, and this is for inverter leg 3. That is leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. Like that we have displaced, and this is the reference for the R phase. This is the reference for R phase, and this is the reference for B phase, and this is the reference for Y phase. And similarly, if we will go with the 120-degree phase shifted windings, 120 displaced carrier based PWM, how it will be? This is again same thing. All three carriers are displaced by 120-degree phase shifted. Which one can be preferable, and how the generalization went, and how thought process went, I am discussing in the coming slides. And see here, this is the effective phase voltage of the R phase. This is the fundamental component, and this is the representing the switching harmonic component. Here the theta C and theta naught is the phase shift between the carriers, and this is the phase shift between the references. Anyhow, we are dealing with the same reference, that theta naught will be always 0, because three windings should get a same reference wave. There is no phase shift between the reference wave seen by the three phase windings. And coming to the reference, we can shift the carrier in certain angle, like first inverter leg will get a 0 degree, and second inverter leg will get a theta C, and third inverter leg will get a 2 theta C. How it will be? The general final harmonic component will be directly proportional to 1 plus 2 t cos m theta C. So if you will give the theta equals to 0 degrees, the all switching harmonics will be present in the phase voltages, all multiples of the switching harmonics. If we will keep the theta equals to 180 by x, suppose 60 degree I am considering, for example, the multiples of the switching harmonics, like all even multiples of the switching harmonics, like the harmonics at 4 kilohertz, suppose for example 2 kilohertz is the switching frequency, then the harmonics at 4 kilohertz, harmonics at the 8 kilohertz, harmonics at the 16 kilohertz will be cancelled each other. But the harmonics at the 2 kilohertz and 6 kilohertz and other odd multiples of the switching harmonics will be presented in the phase voltages. But whereas with the 360 by x, that is 3 inverter legs we have, that means 360 by 3, 120 degree phase shifted we will give, all the switching harmonics are cancelling each other, and the only triplet multiples of the switching harmonics presented in the phase voltage, that is 6 times of the switching frequency, 12 times of the switching frequency, and 18 times and 24 times of the switching frequency are presented in the phase voltages. Thereby, by effectively utilizing the windings presented in the inverter itself, the windings as well as inverter leg presented in the presented for the each phase windings are effectively utilized by providing a carrier phase shift. How we are minimizing the harmonics we have seen here, and as well as how the multi-level voltage can be generated. We can see it here in a visualized manner. In general, with the 2-level voltage without phase shift, I have not shown here, the voltage will be 2 level with the 0 degree phase shift, but with the 60 degree carrier phase shifted PWM, the number of levels in the output voltage, that is sum of all 3 winding voltages, will be increasing. Like as we seen in the earlier slide, the odd multiples of switching harmonics, like first and third and fifth multiples of switching harmonics presented in the effective phase voltages. And with the 120 phase shifted carrier phase shifted PWM, here we can see only triplet multiples of the harmonics presented, like 3 times of the switching frequency and 6 times of the switching frequency harmonics are presented in the phase voltage. This minimized harmonics in the effective phase voltage will eventually improve the torque ripple of the mission. Here we can see that this is with the 0 degree reference, there is no phase shift between the carriers, and this is with the 60 degree phase shift between the carriers. How the torque ripple is coming down, here we can see that, and how the torque ripple is coming down with the 120 phase shifted carrier PWM will be like this. In 9-phase operation, the torque ripple will be same, because in 9-phase operation each winding has only one inverter leg, and we are feeding with one carrier and one reference. Whereas in 3-phase mode, we have a flexibility to use 3 inverter legs and 3 windings to get a resultant rotating magnetic field of one phase, that is R phase. And this is some brief summary of this discussion. So the torque ripple is coming down with the 60 degree phase shifted PWM will be like this, where the torque as well as power is maintained as a constant in both phase shifted and without phase shifted carrier PWMs, and the efficiency is improving by 3.5% without investing anything, by simply playing with the available windings and inverter legs of the mission. We are improving the efficiency as well as torque ripple of the mission. And with the 120 degree phase shift at PWM, this will be like this. The torque ripple is further coming down because of all switching harmonics are eliminated, only triple N harmonics are presented. And efficiency is improved as compared to the 62% without phase shift. The 6% improved in the efficiency with the carrier phase shifted PWM because of the multi-level voltage generation as well as harmonics minimization. And next thing is will be the I am presenting the multi-level inverter configurations. As of now, we have seen how to play with the mission windings and how to generate the multi-level voltage across the effective phase. By using the conventional multi-level inverter configuration, how to generate the multi-level voltage across the effective phase windings, we can see it now. These are the conventional multi-level inverters like diode clamped, cascade bridge and flying capacitor and dual inverter configuration. If we will implement these multi-level inverters for directly to the multi-phase missions, the complexity as well as number of devices as well as the circuit reconfigurations has to be changed and appropriate control has to be designed, so that we have implemented a simple appropriate multi-level inverter configuration based on the dual inverter configuration we have presented and we have proposed here. The operation will be same. In the 9-phase operation, we are grouping as a set of 3-phase winding groups, and we are giving 0 and 120 and 240 degree excitation. And in 3-phase operation, the same windings will come into the in phase and generating a resultant rotating magnetic field of R phase. And this again the same story. The bidirectional switches are presented here to make the active path for phase currents in 3-phase 12-pole operation. And here, by using the dual inverter configuration, we are able to achieve the 3-level voltage across the effective phase windings. The details of this paper, we can go with this paper. And the carriers, because of the multi-level voltage, here the carriers can be shifted, level shifted carrier PWM used because of the 3-level, 2 carriers and 1 reference we have used. And the carrier phase shifted PWM on top of the multi-level voltage, again the carrier phase shifted PWM is used to minimize the harmonic content as well as to generate the multi-level voltage. These are some experimental results without isolation and with isolation, how the zero sequence currents are eliminated from the phase currents and voltages. And these are the effective phase, the phase voltages of the individual windings, and the phase voltage which is causing for the resultant rotating magnetic field in the edge gap will be like this. This is the phase R, which is nothing but sum of these 3 winding voltages. Because of the carrier phase shift between the inverter legs, the voltages are slightly deviated, even though this winding voltage has the harmonics in the individual phase windings. The harmonics in the effective phase voltage is coming down, which is eventually reducing the torque ripple. These are the experimental results. This is the torque ripple with the 2-level voltage and with the 3-level voltage. As we seen that with the carrier phase shift, the torque ripple is much better, but by using the multi-level 3-level voltage, the torque ripple is coming down to 16.5% in a high pole mode, but in a 2-pole mode also, because of the multi-level voltage, the torque ripple is coming down. Further, with the carrier phase shift along with the multi-level 3-level voltage, we have implemented the carrier phase shift PWM, which is minimizing the torque ripple further to the 11.2%, and the speed response of the drive as presented here. And coming to the reliability aspect, the proposed inverter is capable to work under the source fault as well as switch fault. Suppose if switch fault occurs in a top inverter source as well as switches, the drive can be operated with the half of the rated power. The voltage is coming down to half. For maintaining the V by F constant, we have reduced the frequency to half, and the speed is coming down to 1/2, and thereby the torque is maintained as a constant. And coming to the other faults, like if a fault occurs in the bottom side of inverter, how the circuit looks like this. And for the short circuit fault as well as source circuit fault occurs in this bottom side inverter, there is a relay connection between the X1 and X and Y is required. And this is the fault operation. Here we have not compromised with the rated torque, because suppose we are traveling 4 persons are traveling in the vehicle. If a fault occurs, we should not the weight acting on the vehicle, it will not come down. That means the torque acting on the electrical mission, the torque should be same as the normal condition. Because of that reason, we kept the torque as a constant, but the speeds are coming down. Instead of shutting down the entire vehicle, the vehicle can move with a reduced speeds from the faulty location to the garage with this fault tolerant inverter configuration. And this is the another same inverter configuration. By appropriately utilizing the voltage sources in a asymmetrical manner, like 1:2 or 2:1, we are able to generate the multi-level, like 3 level instead of 3 level we are able to get the 4 level voltage. This is the actual performance of the 9-phase mission with the multi-level voltage. Like with the 2 level voltage, this is the thing, and with the 3 level voltage, this is the torque ripple, and 4 level voltage like this it will come. 4 level voltage along with the carrier phase shifted PWM, like we are effectively utilizing the windings as well as inverter legs presented in the inverter configuration. Thereby the torque ripple is coming down to 7.7% and efficiency improved to 74.8% from 62%. And in 9-phase operation, 88% is we have improved with the 4 level voltage. And these efficiency numbers in the 3-phase missions is somewhat lesser as compared to the 9-phase 4-pole operation, because the mission is designed for 9-phase 4-pole operation. Here the same mission is operating, we are overloading and we are operating at 12-pole operation. Because of that, efficiency is somewhat lesser as compared to the 9-phase operation. If you will do the mission design with some optimization technique in order to meet the better performance in both pole phase operations, we can get the improved efficiencies in the here also. For the validation purpose, we have presented here. We have not worked on the optimization and design aspects, because already design techniques and optimization technique for improving the efficiency already well established. As a research perspective, we are presenting the concept how the pole phase modulator drive can be efficiency. And coming to the closed loop control of the multi-phase mission for the electric vehicle application will be like this. How to change the one pole combination to other pole combination will be like this. This is the mission. Suppose the user customer will press the accelerator. Based on that, the pressure sensor, the speed, how much speed we want. Based on that, the speed reference, we are operating the entire drive. If the speed reference is lying between the 500 to minus 500, that is for 12 pole operation, I am considering as a synchronous rotating speed is 500, and associated negative reverse side also minus 500. If the speed is lying in between this range, the vehicle has to be operate in the 3-phase 12 pole mode. The associated changes will replicate in the control diagram. This is the indirect field oriented vector control of the drive with hysteresis control. And if the speed is greater than the 500 rpm, the vehicle has to operate in the 9-phase 4-pole operation. In between the speed, suppose 500 to 1500 is the synchronous speed of the 9-phase 4-pole mode. But in between the speed, suppose 500 to 1500, we can regulate the speed by changing the speed reference here. Whatever the speed reference we are giving, based on that speed reference, if the speed reference value is 300 rpm, it will operate in the 3-phase 12-pole mode. If the speed reference is greater than 500, it will operate in a 9-phase 4-pole mode. And a few experimental results I am presenting here. This is during the 3-phase operation. These are the DAC outputs. During the 3-phase operation, the actual speed of the machine is tracking the reference speed, and during the 9-phase operation, again and again phase change happened, like 3-phase operation. These are the reference currents as well as speed reference. This is the reference IDIQs, and this is the DAC outputs. How the speed transition can be happen, we can see it here. The few technology advancements in multi-phase missions, I am giving some brief description. Within 5 to 10 minutes, I will complete this presentation. Like the advancement in multi-phase missions will be like this. As we said that in 9-phase operation, first thing I am projecting the pole phase modulated induction motor drive, what can be done in future, and what can be where we can focus related to research aspect. Like in 9-phase 4-pole operation, we are dealing with the 9-phase inverter and with the 2-level inverter, because the 9-phase operation, the space harmonics will be minimal, the magnitude of space harmonics. So we can go with the 2-level voltages, 2-level voltage inverter. This is the auxiliary inverter, which is coming into the picture only during the 3-phase operation. And here we can replace this battery with the higher discharge ratings of the battery as well as super capacitors, which can discharge the energy in a shorter duration of the time. Thereby in 3-phase 12-pole mode, in order to meet the higher starting torque as well as to meet the gradient, to overcome the gradient routes with the higher torque, we can use this auxiliary inverter, as well as apart from that, this auxiliary inverter will help to generate the multi-level voltage across the phase windings also. Like this, we can appropriately implement the ultra capacitor concept with the auxiliary winding for quicker discharge and quicker charge during the regenerative braking. Like during regenerative braking, we can use this auxiliary inverter for quicker charging also. And coming to the superconductor based missions for electric vehicles, as these are the key specifications of the Nissan Leaf, as I have visited the Nissan Motor Company as a part of internship. There the details they have provided to me. These are the Nissan Leaf. The electrical mission ratings will be like this: 280 Newton meter and 80 kilowatt mission they have designed for Nissan Leaf, and the top speed and weight of the vehicle will be like this. These are the details they have provided me. These are the rough figures, may not be exact values. Those details provided to me that I am projecting here. They have assigned a task as a part of internship, design a superconductor mission induction motor, because the people are working towards the induction motors. The induction motor, if the rotor resistance is high, the high starting torque we can achieve, but the poor efficiency. But if the rotor resistance is small, we can able to get the higher efficiencies at running condition, but starting torque will be less. In order to meet those two characteristics, what can be the solution be? The suggested solution will be the superconductors. The superconducting material has the phenomena like the material temperature is less than the critical temperature, it offers the lower resistance that is used for the running conditions. If the starting conditions, the currents will be high, so the temperature will be high. With the temperature is high, the superconducting material resistance will be high. This phenomena, the phenomena of the superconducting material as appropriately used to design the superconductor based induction motors. Whereas the rotor bars of the conventional induction motor, squirrel cage induction motor, has replaced with the superconducting based bars. Thereby, we are able to achieve during the starting, we can get the high currents and high resistance. Because of that high torque we are able to achieve. Here, because of the higher currents, the temperature is high. Based on that, the resistance is going up. And during running condition, lesser phase currents is resulting, and the proper cooling system we have to design to cool down the material less than the critical temperature. The cooling structure and cooling design for the superconductor based missions will be a key challenge. The people who are interested can work it here. And the comparison purpose, this is the conventional mission and this is the superconducting based mission. Here we can implement the pole phase modulated induction motor drives further to improve the performance at starting as well as running conditions. And this is the reference paper. Those who are interested can go through this reference paper. And coming to the charging technologies, how the multi-phase missions can be replicated in the battery charging configurations. I am not going in detail with the all charging methods. Just I am focusing on the AC fast charging. As we all are know that DC fast charging is capable to charge the battery in within known time, like 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes. But by using the advantage of multi-phase mission, we can able to implement a AC fast charger for the battery charging application. The brief discussion on integrated onboard charger I am giving here. The integrated onboard charger means where the mission winding inductance as well as the inverter structure has effectively used by using an extra circuit for the charging of the battery. Like with this, there is no requirement of any additional DC-DC converters, additional power circuits for charging the battery. Here, whatever the windings are there presented in the mission are used as a filter inductances, and whatever the switches presented in the inverter are used as a structure for the boost or active filters for the charging the battery. And how it can be like this? Here, the mission windings along with the inverter legs are using as a boost converter, structure of boost converter. Like this, three windings of the mission has used as a three cascaded structures of or three parallel circuits of the boost structure. Thereby we can, whatever the charging current is feeding from the grid side is parallelly distributed among these three parallel branch and pumping into the battery. This is one type of connection, and this is another type of connection, single phase charging connection for the charging the battery. And the drawback here is that we are unable to restrict the torque generation during the charging process, because if we will excite the windings, stator windings, we have to control the rotor torque in such a way that the mission is at standstill condition, the torque will be zero. Like that situation we have to replicate. And with the multi-phase missions, what is the advantage here is, with the 9-phase mission for charging of the battery application is proposed by the Professor Emil Levy papers. We can go through the Professor Emil Levy's papers, where the 9-phase mission has proposed for the faster charging by using the single-phase grid as by using the 3-phase grid. Like here, as we said in the earlier slide, each inverter leg along with the inductor will work as a one boost inductor, which is like as interleaved kind of boost structure it will work. And we can pump the more current into the system to charge the battery at faster rates. And here the additional DC-DC converter has used to charging the battery control. This is one of the advantage the people can the research scope is there to implement a AC fast charging system by using the multi-phase missions. These are the few laboratory setups developed at the ITH. Initially, we have implemented with the standard inverters, which is costing around the 50 to 80,000 for each inverter board, each 3-phase inverter board. If you will go with these 3-phase inverter boards for multi-phase to design a multi-phase system, the cost will be lie around 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs for the inverters itself. The major components in this inverter circuits will be the switch as well as gate driver circuit. By the thought of that thing to reduce the cost as well as to implement, we have implemented the inverter boards in the laboratory itself. These are the board designed in the KiCad and GEDA softwares, where the PCB we have implemented in the software and the components we have soldered in the laboratory itself. This board is entirely designed in the laboratory at the Professor Shivkumar Sir lab. And the cost of 3-phase inverter will be 3 to 5,000 only. And this is the same the inverter legs. So the each inverter leg, whatever the previous switch is there, the standard inverter leg is there. Here we can't tap the two switches ISO individually. Like this switch is we can't use individually. This switch we can't use, like, because here the source of the top switch as well as drain of the bottom switch are connected, and one point have given for the tapping the load. But whereas here we have designed a inverter which can be capable for using the each switch individually. Like this switch has the drain and source individually, and this gate driver has individual connection. Apart from the deadband circuit connections and buffer circuit has implicated here, and the 4-leg inverter we have implemented. And this is the inverter setup for 9-phase mission, and various missions we have implemented in the 9-phase and 15-phase missions in the laboratory I have presented here. These winding terminals and the and all other design aspects can be beautified by using the customized project by industry pickups. And these are the few laboratory setups which are implemented at the Qatar University. Again, we have using GEDA software, we have implemented the inverters initially, and after that we are using some silicon carbide modules for driving the mission with the high power application. And this is some research scope on the powertrain of the electric vehicle. We can design an efficient powertrain for electric vehicles with multi-phase mission, like whatever we have discussed, the two combinations. Like the same pole phase modulation can be implemented for synchronous missions or other multi-phase missions we can implement. And superconductor based missions along with the pole phase modulation or without pole phase modulation also we can implement a superconductor based mission to carry the higher power density. And the cooling also another challenge which we can be think on it. Hello. Okay. 2 minutes I will end up this session. Hello. Okay. And non-rare earth magnetic material. Okay. And research towards the non-rare earth magnetic missions, as we are mainly depending on the permanent magnets, the research has to be towards the non-rare earth magnetic based missions. But the power density as well as handling capability should not compromise much, and reliability improvement with respect to mission faults as well as switch faults or battery side faults, and the gear less powertrain configuration along with the pole phase modulation. Any other control schemes or any other structures of mission can be proposed with the gearless powertrain operation. And four-wheel drive configurations, apart from the pole phase modulation, we can go with the four-wheel drive configuration for accurate control with the optimized design of the missions, and drive advanced drive configurations and level 3 AC fast charging for the multi-phase missions. Thank you. Thanks for your participation. The now it is mic is open for the questions. If any queries are there, please. Hello, sir. With this, my presentation is completed, sir. Please.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
If any participants having any queries, please enter the question in chat box. Otherwise, you unmute your video and interact with the resource person. Dear participants, if any having this query,
Okay.
either
Okay,
enter into
one
the chat
question.
box. Okay.
Okay. I am reading from the chat box. One Karthik Reddy, someone asked me that can we do the simulation, any simulation of 9-phase induction motor operation for different modes? If so, please provide the softwares useful. See, in 9-phase induction motor, can we operate it as either 9-phase 4-pole mode or 3-phase 12-pole mode? In order to change the number of poles without changing the number of phases is not possible, but we can operate the 9-phase mission at different speeds. Thus, coming to the softwares, we can use the all FEM softwares like ANSYS Maxwell and JMAG, and other magnetic softwares we can use to simulate these 9-phase missions. I hope I answered the question. If not, please let me know. Any other questions? Anyhow, I will share I have already shared the presentation with the organizers. If anyone has any queries, please go through that PDF, and anyone has queries, please let me know. Contact by email.
Dear participants, anyway, once the session is over, we will provide the feedback. Even though it's a recorded video also, we send the link to all the participants.
Saravanan, sir.
Mahesh sir, 1 minute, sir. Dear participants, this feedback link is posted in the chat box as well as your WhatsApp group. Please fill the feedback. It's enabled within 1 hour only, up to 12:15 only. It's enabled them. The feedback link will enable up to 12:15. Please complete the task as early as possible. Mahesh sir, tell me, sir.
Shall I conclude this session, sir?
Yes, sir. Mahesh sir, yes, sir.
First of all, I would like to express big thanks to B. Pratap Reddy sir for his excellent presentation towards the advancement of machines and power converters for electric vehicles. So thank you, sir.
Okay,
I would
sir.
like to express Pratap Reddy sir for excellent coverage for electric vehicles, necessity of the electric vehicles, and overview of the powertrains in electric vehicles, and what is the need of the multi-phase for electric vehicles, and polyphase modulated induction motor drive for electric vehicles, that speed torque profile comparisons, and the future research areas in the electric drives. So we are all inspired by your great words, sir. And I would like to express my sincere thanks to once again the Pratap Reddy sir for his excellent coverage in the area of electric vehicles. And I would like to express my sincere thanks to management and giving the excellent support to conduct the event. And finally, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all the participants for excellent support for making this session as a grand success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Pratap Reddy, sir. Your lecture
Okay,
was
sir. Thank you.
highly inspiring, interesting, and eye-opening to all the participants. We thank you for delivering this wonderful lecture to all the participants of the short-term training program. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, the
then
next session will start on 11:35. The next session will start on 11:35. That 15 minutes for break time.
Thank you, Saravanan, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. My sir.